I never forget this shit. I'm over here thinking like, fuck, I'm catching this buzz. Everybody's listening to my music, but I'm going to sleep in my car, bro. And a part of me, I was young at the time. I didn't have no kids, but a part of me was like, I don't give a fuck. People listen to my music, bro. Like, shit.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Unquestionable the Podcast. You're with your boy Chris, Bucci, K3, and we're joined with none other than Baby Gas.
Yo, what's
How
up
you
with the
doing, bro?
fellas,
What's going on, Baby Gas?
What's going on, man?
Can't call it. I appreciate you guys pulling up on me.
No, I appreciate you having us, bro.
Appreciate you for letting us come through, man.
Hey, bro, thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
We're trying to create something that's comfortable for people like this to be able to pull up. You know, I'm a family man, so, you know, my schedule will be crazy. But I'm glad and I respect the fact that you was willing to work around it and even pull up. So respect on that.
No, thank you for coming and joining us, bro. It's been a long time coming. We definitely been trying to make this one happen, bro.
I know. Hey, look, I ain't the type of person to cat on nobody, man. But I know you have reached out to me a few times, and bro, I apologize. My schedule be crazy. But when I see you being consistent, when I see someone be consistent, I'm not the type to get like annoyed. I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers serious. You know what I mean? We got to lock in. So I'm glad we're here now. Come on.
No, definitely. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you for real. We want to start it off the same way we start off a lot of these, bro. Tell us about yourself, where you're from, what it is that you do.
I go by Baby Gas, the Ghetto Vato, whatever you might know me by. I'm from East Oakland, California, deep East Oakland, California to be exact. What I do a lot of everything, man. Father first.
Yes, sir.
I mean? God-fearing man, you know, artist, entrepreneur, podcaster as well.
Yes, sir.
I do a lot, I do what it take. You know, I'd like to tell people I do what it take, bro.
That's
you know
dope.
what I mean? So definitely I'll be on a lot of side missions and shit.
Oh, that's dope. Honestly, bro, you're doing so much, and we can't help but see you around doing, whether it be, you know, now you're about to be performing at the Roots. Congratulations,
Hey,
bro. That's
a big one. That's a big one.
Big
That's
thing.
crazy. I ain't gonna lie. I was still a little nervous about it. I'm gonna keep it real. Well, I don't know when this episode covered out, but you know, check back in with me, y'all, because you know it's the first of it. It's the first time that I do something like this. You know, just at the end of the day, I just try to put on for my people.
No, that's dope.
It's bigger than where I'm from, city-wise, and more of like, what can I do for the people that come from places like me?
No, that's dope.
For sure.
And on top of that, I seen you with Richie Rich recently, bro. That
bro.
I know. See,
Hey,
that must have been crazy. Yeah, that must have been a crazy ass take, bro.
God is good, bro. Shout out my big bro Royce, and you know the people that be playing their parts behind the scenes, whether you know it's my team or just like family that you know is outside and you know put my names in rooms when I'm not in them. But actually, I bumped into Richie Rich at an Oakland Roots game.
okay.
So we bumped into each other at an Oakland Roots game. It was the home opener. Too Short was performing. If you was from the town, you was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? 28,000 seats sold. Shout out to my guy Ed Reese, man. Like it was wild. But he come up to me. You know, we in like this little private club area, and he come up to me like Gas. You know. Anytime somebody I grew up listening to recognizes me, it still be like, hold on, bro, you coming up to me? Well, man, what's up, my guy, man?
Surreal.
That's dope.
So it was dope, bro. Automatic, you know, it was love and, you know, mandatory when you feel the vibe. It's like, bro, let's cook.
Yeah.
And I'll keep it real. I won't say too much about the records, but he reached out like, let's cook. I actually reached out to him like, yo, need you on the album. He reached back out like, it's easy. Let me know what you want to do. I'm like, man, I could come through with something that's open already, or we could cook from scratch. And he was like, bro, let's cook from scratch. I'll see if I could keep up. So he pulls up to the studio. Man, I was the one keeping up. You feel me? OG was putting belt to ass over there in the lab. You feel me? Like
he was gassing Baby Gas. My bad.
Yeah, no, for real. And like we said, you know, at the session, it's like it's good sparring. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's an art. And you know, like we grow up with friends. You know, you might shadow box with your friend, or you might try to race your friend. It's healthy competition. Healthy sparring, and you know, iron sharpens iron.
Takes you back to the sport of everything.
But it goes back to the kid me, bro. You know, being in these situations, regardless of how long I've been doing this, it don't ever get old to like really get in something like that. You know, I'm looking at OG that we all grew up listening to. I also grew up listening to some of my favorite rappers mention Richie Rich. You know what I mean? All I could think about is Sideshow with Tracks a Million. Ain't nothing like it was with Rich. You know what I mean? Like, all that is like, you know, you get into this moment and you're like, damn. You know what I mean? So, yeah, God's good for sure.
That's dope, bro.
You gotta talk, because I know you mentioned Richie Rich. You got to talk about 40 too, because 40, I know you got a song with him, man. We were talking about it earlier, and you just got to walk the people through. Like, you got a song with Richie Rich, you got a song with 40, at least like the influential Bay Area artists, like tell us about that situation when you were in the room with 40, how that all played out.
Well, first and foremost, I tried to keep in mind, like, you know, I don't like to really stamp it like I'm the first to really do anything. But when I first came out, you know, years ago, you know, I'm 29 now. You know, I really came in the game professionally when I was like 15. One of the biggest things that I wanted to do was put our people and push our people forward. It wasn't the coolest thing to be a Mexican rapper. You know, they didn't embrace our people like they do now. Now our culture is televised, so people feel like it's cool to have amigo. You know what I mean? They feel they found out that we was the plug for real, and then they instantly, you know, wanted to adapt to our culture. But at the time when I first came out, you know, as a rapper, people would be like, man, the Mexicans shouldn't be rapping, or people doubted our, you know, our lyrical exercise and capabilities. And one of the biggest things I always wanted to do was stamp myself along the greats. So, you know, going back to the E-40 thing, when I did the E-40 thing, bro, it was, you know, the team reached out. E-40 was familiar with who I was, which was another like crazy moment. We was talking about it a little bit off camera. He was just like, I don't want nothing, guys. He didn't ask me for $1. He's just like, just if I call you in the future for a feature, just return the favor. And it did a lot for me, man, in terms of like recognizing the fact that you could be this big and still rock with somebody that's still coming up, because, you know, tables might turn one day, whatever the case may be. So shout out to E-40. I'm not too sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think besides Baby Bash, and Baby Bash is in a slightly different lane than me, I ain't seen no other Hispanic artists with E-40. So when we did the record, I had platforms like World Star actually snatched that up. And at the time, World Star was booming. It was like 10, 15,000 just to get on their YouTube, and, you know, probably like another 5, 10 to be on the Instagram. And bro, they snatched it up. Shout out to my guy Gio over there. And then, yeah, bro, I try to really stamp the black and brown, because these were the people I grew up listening to. At the end of the day, I don't do it for nobody but myself. You know what I mean? The younger me, the kid in me. You know what I mean? The game's changing. The game is a different game than what it was. So anytime I collab with the greats, I not only do it for myself, but I do it for like, hey, our people could do it too. You know what I mean?
No, that's dope.
Yeah, that's sick, man.
That's dope,
for the culture, for sure.
Yeah.
To take it back to the start of everything, I want to kind of rewind it a little bit in here. What is it that like kind of sparked your interest in hip hop in general, and even rapping, and what started off, I mean, the career you have
culture,
now?
You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing, bruh. You know, growing up in Oakland, my mother is Salvadorian. My pops is Mexican. I grew up with my mom. Pops was incarcerated basically my whole life. And my mom barely spoke any English, so it was a lot of like Spanish music, banda, you know, cumbias, you know, bachata, like anything Latino music, I knew it. You know, we danced it. That was my culture. But the reality is that I was also growing up in a multicultural city. You know what I mean? So I started adapting and like soaking up different perspectives of, you know, where I was growing up. So my younger years, I lived in a certain part of Oakland where it was my apartment complex was nothing but Hispanics, Latinos all through there. You know what I mean? Not everybody, we had some black folks in there, but they were from Panama. You know what I mean? Regardless, everybody was Latinos. We all spoke Spanish. We all shared the same culture. But then, we moved to the deep of the East. And that's kind of where my neighborhood was, regardless of where I was coming from, my neighborhood was all black and brown folks. And when I say brown, I'm not talking about Mexicans. I'm talking about, folks from the Middle East, Polynesians. I was the only Hispanic in my neighborhood. So I started adapting and soaking up all this new culture. And one of the new things that I was soaking up was my next door neighbors at the time used to be outside freestyling. And I'm just like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? I knew rap, come on the radio, whatever it may be. But just the fact of like being out in the streets and still, I got to, I don't know if these younger kids do it now, but I got to experience like the little bit of like the older hip hop. Like when I was in school and somebody found out that I rapped, I used to battle. You know what I mean? Especially being Mexican. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I used to have people come to, hey, I heard you rap. Meet me in the cafeteria. Man, it's on. You feel me? And even though we don't do that now, at the time, it was like, it really showed your capabilities in terms of like, you say you a rapper, rap right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
On the spot.
Like you better have something off the top or you better have that one rap written because somebody going to pull your card. It isn't like it is now, the game, no shade, but, people make songs from the comfort of their own home. Sometimes they'll show their face. The song go bigger than them. It's just a different game. But at the time when we was coming up, we was outside. Mm-hmm. So, just watching my neighbors definitely influenced me, not for only music, but just the whole approach that I took from the beginning for sure.
That's dope. And then what early steps, I guess, got you inserted into the rap game and made you, I guess, take it serious? Like now it wasn't just battling at lunch, like you said. Now you're looking at it like, shit, I'm really doing this.
Yeah. I went to my first studio.
Okay.
So I went to my first studio when I was 13 in Oakland. Back in those days, about 10, 15 years ago, there was a super popular studio that everybody used to go to. It was called Stay Tuned. Shout out my guy, Jeff. And at the time, there was an artist, from Oakland, West Oakland, if I'm not mistaken, Lee Majors. He was an artist, used to rap with the Jacka and all the, time before me. Mm-hmm. He was an artist, but he was engineering. So somebody took me to the studio for the first time, and Lee Majors happened to be my engineer. You know what I mean? And once again, you did not regularly see Hispanic rappers. So I was 13. I went in there. I had 2 hours. I'll never forget this shit. I had 2 hours. I recorded my first song. When I recorded my first song, man, all my kids, bro, pulled me to the side. We went to go holler outside. And he was like, I ain't never heard no Mexican rapper rap like you, bro. You know what I mean? He's all like, man, we got to cook. And come on, I'm a kid, bro. Don't tell me that. The next thing I was like, I got a song right now. You feel me? So I happened to have a song, bro, at the time called Streets Made Me. And it was basically, being raised by the streets, single mom, no pops. And bro had a similar story. So we went back in there, and for my second hour, me and Lee Majors fucking collab. You know what I mean? Which, like I said, if you from the town and you knew what Lee Majors was doing at the time, that was major.
That was crazy.
You know what I mean? So that's like my first song, bro. They put it on the CD after your session. No email and shit. You had it on the CD. You going home. You putting that shit in your boombox, bro. It was a time to be alive, bro. You know what I mean? And how I got into it now, the next step into the game was at the time, there was a guy, well, there is a guy, he's still here with us, obviously, but my guy, Gold Toes, Julio Sanchez, out of this city, had a label called This Latin, which was an imprint off the This label, and that's what I knew. This was that one group of Latinos from where I'm from that I was seeing doing the shit. So one day, somebody passed me the email, and was all like, I can't give you his number, but this is the email. So I fucking ended up emailing him and like, yo, my name Baby Gas. You know what I mean? I'm 14 years old, you know, trying to do whatever. I don't know what the fuck my email said. And I attached 2 songs, the 2 songs that I had from that studio session. He emailed back like, hit me. And he fucking hit me with his number. And one conversation led to another. And he was like, let's rock. Damn. So I hopped on the Thiz Latin, you know, imprint at the time. And it was definitely like a stepping stone. That is what showed me the game. The shows, the touring, the studio sessions. Now I had attached myself to somebody who had access to different studios. Not only that, but he was creating something big at the time, which was basically the Thiz Latin label started creating like subdivisions in different cities. So they had like Thiz Latin Chicago, Thiz Latin Denver, Thiz Latin, all these Thiz Latins around the country, and it gave us an excuse to travel to these states. So I was 15 years old, pulling up to Chicago, doing a verse in the trenches with some Chicago dudes, and you know, doing the same thing in Denver, Kansas City, and that shit showed me the ropes, bro. You know what I mean? And by the time I got to an age, I think I was like 18. I didn't necessarily have an issue with Thiz Latin. It was the fact that it was just me that was signed to Thiz Latin, and I wanted to bring my day one friends with me. And some of my day ones aren't Latin. So, you know, I had to start my own shit, and I started Trap Hours.
Okay.
And we established in 2013.
The rest was history.
Yeah.
That's dope, bro.
I know that you're pretty big, you know, within the Latino community, and honestly, me being half black, half Mexican, I think it's dope. You know, I think it's pretty dope to see, like, you know, within the Latino community, like I've noticed, like, you know, you got a lot of people that you work with, and then one question I want to ask is like, what's like a, how do I phrase this? I was gonna say, what's like a, you know, some of the artists that, you know, for people who don't listen to your music, and this is the whole point of the podcast, this is, you know, shout them out and stuff, like what's some of your more like favorable, notable, like, you know, collabs that you've done within, you know, the Latino community? Because at least within Oakland, you know, the Bay Area, that's you know, very, very big and huge out there. So
yeah, I mean, I don't have too many in the Latino community, just for the simple fact that, like, you know, I'm not sure if you ever heard this, but a Latino's biggest hater is another Latino.
Oh shit.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you ain't heard it, I'll be the one to say it. You know what I mean? But in the Latino community, I for sure, you know, always respect the collaborations that I did with my boy Young Chop out of Oakland, for the simple fact that we kind of were going, you know, back to back during the time. Because, you know, around 15, 16, 17, you know, when the label was branching off, I started Thiz Latin in Oakland. So, you know, we ended up, you know, creating something, you know, major. And Young Chop and his team was back to back with us. So the fact that we was both coming out the same city, you know, both Hispanic, our collaborations always came out dope. Another one that was always dope to me was Los Racas. So they're from Panama. They're the first Latinos I ever saw from my section, my city, be on TV. I'll never forget that shit. I seen them on Mundos.
When was that?
Fuck, bro. I was probably like 8, 9.
Around that time.
Yeah, for sure. Early 2000s.
Yep.
They had a song called "This Is From My Barrio, This Is From My Ghetto."
Yep.
And bro, they had my city on TV. And this is like, Mundos was like our MTV, right? Yep. So like I'm watching all these music videos, and you know, you see people in Puerto Rico and New York and all these different things, and I see Los Racas, and I'm seeing stores that I recognize, streets that I recognize. That was the most major thing for me as a kid, bro. The inspiration was crazy. So, you know, when I grew up, I collabed with both of them, Raka Rich and Raka Dun, and that collaboration's always been major. You know, I've done some shit, you know, with, I definitely got a lot on the new project. I got, you know, songs with an upcoming grupo called Grupo MM out of Hayward area. Songs fucking fire. I'm definitely trying to increase the collab with the Latino community. Like I said, it's just, I'm big on people that stand on the same principles as me. I'm big on collaborating with Latinos that's pushing the same line for our people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of no sabos out there, bro, that just don't really care about pushing our people forward. And there's no shade to them. Maybe that's all they know. But I try to do my collaborations real strategic. I mean, it's chess, not checkers out here.
Hell yeah.
And being a bilingual artist yourself, I wanted to ask, has that always been in your music? Was that something that just starting off,
No, that's what caught my buzz.
Okay.
So the ones that really know me from back then, that's what initially got me my buzz was the Spanglish. The reason that I put the Spanglish on hold is because when I came out, it wasn't common to be a Latino artist and they doubted the bars. So I had to come with the English bars and establish myself on the bar side of thing in English to show the world, like, man, I rap for real. You feel me? And then now, like I said, we're in a space where, you know, these English speaking artists want to transition and collab with, you know, people from our section. And it started like in bits and pieces, right? Like we got who was it? Romeo Santos was with who? Drake?
Drake did it with Chino Podcast, right?
Bad Bunny. It was Bad Bunny. But somebody, Chino Podcast, Romeo Santos, that's how you say his name? And or even further back, if I'm not mistaken, Lil Wayne did it with Enrique Iglesias.
Okay, yeah.
I think I'm on point with that. But it started in bits and pieces where people will try to transition. Right, you got fucking who is it? Justin Bieber, Despacito.
Yeah,
right? People slowly start to, you know, kind of transition into that lane, and I found myself in a space where whoa, that one thing that I put down a while ago is people are ready for it.
Yeah.
And honestly, a part of me felt like I shouldn't have put it down because I could have been one of the first to really kick it through the door. I didn't know better at the time. You know, I didn't realize that could have been what really stuck me out in the industry. But it's cool. We're in a space right now where we could come and deliver. And hopefully, I mean, this space continues to grow because now it gives us that space to move around from just rap and transition to, I mean, I just released my first Latin house record. That was sick as fuck. I mean, I just performed at a rave for the first time, bro. That shit was insane.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Where was that at?
San Jose, downtown San Jose.
Okay.
It was lit.
That's
I'm
lit.
talking about it was major DJs from all over. And, you know, I'm thinking shout out my guy Clayton Williams and Soul Siete. You know, I'm thinking this ain't my style. But luckily I surround myself around creatives who push me. And they're like, yeah, bro, but you got to, bro. This music is growing right now. And I did. I gave in. I did one record, and we done got it on 94.9, Wild 94.9 in the Bay. We done got it in Sacramento Valley stations. And people are like, are adapting to this shit. I'm like, all right, well, shit, let's get it. You know, work.
That's dope. No, that's dope. So moving on, bro, from the music, obviously you transitioned. You said at COVID was the time you transitioned into trying to get more into media and move outside of music a little more, right?
Yeah.
What kind of drove that originally, and how did you guys start? You know, saying what you don't.
Yeah, saying what you want.
Yeah.
It's honestly, bro, I think I got, you know, in a space where, you know, you're in this industry for so long and you got to realize the only way that you'll make it being in this industry for so long is, you know, being relevant in some way, you know, and some people, you know, end up going to doing some weird shit. You know what I mean? You see a lot of artists doing weird shit because they want to make headlines again. And, you know, that's just not me, bro. You know what I mean? I try to stand on the principles I've always stood on. I'm a family man. So I try to do something that was going to keep me in the people's view. And I think a couple minutes ago, we had the conversation of yo, Gas, I'm seeing you everywhere, not just music wise. And that was the goal. And this is some real game for anybody who's in this industry and coming up. I think people fall for the misconception of you got to have this super dope music, you know, in today's time. The game's changed. I come from where you had to have talent, but with the game that we have now, it's about you being a likable person. So when you make people fall in love with you as a person, they will literally support everything you do, bro.
No,
Like
definitely.
I've been in tequila business. I've been in the cannabis business. We done sold merch. We done did meet and greets. We done did everything. And every time people gonna support just for the simple fact that they're like, I fuck with you as a person.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you remind me of me. I want to be like you, whatever the case may be. So when I did the podcast, it was just a way of me showing people another side of me. You know what I mean? Like you listen to, you look at Baby Gas, and the first thing you do is see my hit songs with, me riding in the car with a Mac 10. That's the younger me. You know what I mean? Not saying that, like I regret any of that. Like I'm proud of all my work. It's where I come from, and it was a time. But I think at the end of the day, we getting older. I'm not here to compete with the younger generation, so I find my lane. And when I build my lane, I stay in it. And most importantly, to all my younger people over there watching, man, I think that what I did was I built my platform brick by brick. Some people, build their houses super quick, but it ain't sturdy. Somebody the other day reached out to me, was all like, "Guys, you kind of have like a cult like following." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I wouldn't say cult. You know what I mean? Like all crazy, Playboy
But super
Cardi-ish,
supportive.
but super supportive, bro.
Yeah.
Super supportive. I mean, I'm seeing the same fans that will come to a rap show. I'll see them at my podcast live shows, or I'll see them at my meet and greets, or bro, I could fucking play soccer and they're gonna pop into a game. You know what I mean? Like it's just was dope, bro. So that is what motivated me to like switch into media, and not necessarily switch, but start dipping and dabbing into like these side missions. You know who's a good example, and I'm gonna just throw this out there, is Marshawn Lynch.
Oh yeah, perfect, natural.
Bro, Marshawn Lynch, well, it was a beast on the football field, right? But you'll see him on Survivor. You know what I mean? You'll see him fucking. Snoop did the same thing, chilling
The
with
Olympics.
Martha Stewart, and like, bro, it's when you start doing these side missions, and I think that that's what some of the newer generation tries to shy away from. Is like when you're an artist, you're an entertainer. You know what I mean? Like I've done all types of shit, bro. I've done commercials. I've done voiceovers, acting. Like, you gotta remember, brother, the whole point of the rap game is to be a stepping stool for you to get into other stuff. You not gonna be the hottest thing forever. The new and improved versions of these kids is coming out crazy, bro. You gotta, don't be one of them old heads that try to close the door on the younger generation. Do your thing, each one teach one, pass down the game, and that's how you gonna stay relevant.
No, definitely. Was there any hesitancy starting it off? Like, did you have hesitancy with all that accessibility that you were opening up to?
Nah, a part of me, when I was growing up, some of the people in the industry, believe that like having too much access to you can dumb down the like celebrity status.
Exactly.
But honestly, bro, that's like, you got to come into this with a goal. My goal has never been to be like this A-list celebrity that got to like cover his face when he come out the restaurant. That's not what I want. You know what I mean? Everybody gets to decide how big they want to be.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like I've never intended to be that big. You know what I mean? And I think that's what, going back to the younger generation, or some people that weren't taught no better, like people think that you gotta be like a multi-million-dollar a year individual to be successful. But when I quit my job, my last 9-to-5 job that I had like a decade ago, one of the things that I took into consideration was like, well, how am I going to survive? You know what I mean? Because I just went cold turkey. I just went like, I'm going to do this. And I thought to myself, well, let me compare it to a job. You know what I mean? If I'm making $100 a day at a job, or $150, I got to make $150 on this a day in order to survive, in order to, match the shit. So people don't realize that a doctor is out there making like $250,000. Right? Depends what type of doctor. But there's doctors out there making $250,000. You could be an artist making $250,000 and be good, bro. You ain't got to make billions of dollars a year. You ain't got to make $1 million a year. There's different levels to success, whatever you comfortable, whatever makes you happy. So, yeah, I've never tried to be like all the way up here. You know what I mean? So, you know, I came in the game with an intention.
No, definitely. I also think there's something to say about, you know, that accessibility now is like almost currency in today's day and age with how like social media is and stuff, all that access, whether it be Twitch, Kick, all those things, like that is what grows, you know, fandoms. That's what Kai Cenat did. And honestly, you even look back at like the Keeping Up with the Kardashians thing and how they open doors and let everybody have an opinion and see their lives. That's what made them as big as what they are. And I think, like you said, oftentimes people making that transition, they kind of turn a blind eye to it because they're like, oh, it's going to turn down my celebrity status or it's going to impact me negatively. But like you said, I feel like if you water where it grows, like it ends up making it way bigger anyway.
Yeah, and if it's in your business plan, so be it. I mean, it's just some people, don't get twisted. Some people at work, you know, being like a actor, you know, you got people like Denzel Washington, you know, barely at this age doing some interviews, you know, probably don't even be on social media, you know, like that's that status where it's like you saw Denzel, you met Denzel, it's much more, you know, like damn, because not everybody meets him. But that's his way of doing things. Then you got artists, you know, that are coming up where we from, like Lil Russell. You know, shout out to bro. We had the privilege of having him on our podcast. The dude's selling experiences. Or we talking like a level up when we look at Chris Brown. Chris Brown hugging bitches for $1,000. He bent your girl over for $1,000. You know what I mean? Like it's the experience, bro. And there's like that's what people don't understand. Like some people might think it's corny or whatever, but there's women out there who really grew up like this dude was their crush. And like for $1,000, you telling me I can take a picture with this dude hugging me from the back? You know, like as funny as it may be, that's an experience. And you can talk about that for years to come. You can blow that bitch up and have that shit in your living room. You feel me? Like it's just, you know, when you create a certain experience, and that's a prime example. That's a pretty big artist.
Yeah.
And he given the chance of somebody to just talk to him. Touch them. A lot of people don't like being touched. You know what I mean? So that's major in its way.
No, definitely, bro. And we were talking about actors. We were talking about it a little earlier. You recently did Splash City. I want to hear a little bit about that experience. Not only that, but also the process of shooting a movie.
Yeah, the process was dope, bro. I mean, you know, obviously, movie wise, can't really talk too much about it, but the process. The experience was dope. It wasn't my first time on a set. I've played on a comedy show that's on Tubi called Ghetto Busters. It's a spinoff to Ghostbusters, and I play a paletero man in there.
Okay,
you know what I mean. So I'm like episode 1 or 2. I don't recall, but I did like a little bit of comedy. But the acting, you know, was always something that I wanted to dive into. Right, we have plenty of people that have done it. You know, we've had the Ice Cubes, the Will Smiths, you know, that have transitioned from music and been pretty successful in film. I think like anything I do, bro, I just try to understand it. I try to like really dive into it. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie, I don't really be talking about it because it be seeming like I dive in too deep to shit. But when I did that film, bro, like I auditioned for the role. You know, somebody pitched it to me, was like, yo, think you'd be crazy for this. Audition for it, you know what I mean? If I'm not mistaken, the casting director said it was like me against like 1,400 other people for that specific role that sent submissions, and they called me. I'm like, shit, hey, hell yeah, you know what I mean? And I wanted to do it not in the sense just because like I wanted people to pick me because who I was, but because they genuinely liked what I brought to the table. So aside from Splash City, there's a lot of stuff that I got coming out. And, you know, I'm dipping and dabbing to a lot of things. I like the comedy shit. That's my shit. Even like on smaller scales, me and my wife would do like a lot of skits on Instagram, which is a form of acting. We'll do like a lot of short films when we release albums, which is, you know, acting. But most importantly, like my goal is to really dive into like real deeper dramas to be able to, once again, push our people forward. or some of the biggest Latino actors you see, they're in comedies. You know what I mean? Like when we gonna get a Hispanic Denzel that's really gonna bring that shit out? You know what I mean?
No,
It might or might not be me, and if it's not, hopefully somebody else pushes that envelope. But somebody gotta start putting our people in these rooms and be like, we could be taken serious too.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're a multifaceted man. It's crazy to see, you got your own podcast in the background right here. Coming from a podcaster, man, and just talk about, just being in the podcast world, as a rapper, being multifaceted and stuff. How did you guys start? Did it come from just a quick idea, or you just, hey, let's just tap in this lane and see where it goes?
It was during the pandemic. We started like a Instagram live, and we just played games. Me and my wife. Shout out to my wife, bro, because like our platform has a lot to do with like me fucking with my wife, bro. Like that's really the truth. Like
she's shaking her head back there. She's shaking her head back there.
Y'all ever watch back in the day like Viva La Bam?
Yeah.
And he, bro, just always fucked with his parents.
Yeah.
Like I be putting my wife through some shit, bro. But I think that like it ties into everything. I try to tie in everything that I do professionally. I try to tie it into like family, so it doesn't really like take away. Me and my wife work together. A lot of people be like, man, you work with your wife and still come home to your wife. Like, you must be tired of your wife. But when we like in this industry, bro, like you get to have, fun with your dog, with your road dog, your right hand. You know what I mean? So we went live one time and we just, started seeing people chime in, and people. This is during the pandemic, so no one had to go to work. Everybody was running off stimmies. You know what I mean? And people were chiming in. Yo, y'all going live today? Everybody chiming in, and bro, one thing led to another. And when I saw the podcast thing was becoming a thing, I'm like, I want in on that. You know what I mean? And not necessarily because I wanted to create a platform. I'm not a fan of the platforms that just get to gossiping and try to do all that messy shit. You know what I mean? We just like having raw conversations and bringing sides out of ourselves and our guests that the people don't naturally see. You know what I mean? Now, I've seen venues that used to deny me, like music venues that used to deny me to perform there when I didn't have a podcast. Because like I said, you look up Baby Gas and it's just this dude in the hood, people, guns, all the shit, right? Like, I get it. But when I started doing a podcast and you search up Baby Gas, now you got clips of me. We laughing. It's me and my wife, me and my kids. I got more of a balanced lifestyle now. Those same venues that was denying us was like, yep, it's good. Come through. I would love to have you. You know what I mean? So somewhere along the lines, I'm not sure. Those people, some people just, it's a stereotype. I'm like, bro, like, it's music. You know what I mean? How the fuck Ice Cube become a rapper if he was NWA? You know what I mean? Like, motherfucker was gangster than the motherfucker. You know what I mean? And he out here doing, what was it?
Are we there yet?
Come on, bro. Like, not only is the game changing, but the audience too. So I think we got to go back to the fact that, we're entertainers.
No, definitely.
At what point did you know that it was time to get into live shows? Because obviously, like as a podcaster, as a podcasting group and stuff like that, wanting to obviously keep on moving up and stuff. At what point did you know, like, hey, like let's start doing this live for people?
There's no time. You just gotta be down to fail.
Yeah,
you gotta be down to fail. That's the best thing. Like a lot of people like try to like wait for the right moment, for it to be like time because they don't know if they'll sell enough tickets. Like, bruh, it's okay, bruh. Like if you sell 10 tickets and give away 20, that's cool, bro.
Yeah.
That's 30 people in the building. You know what I mean? And like, I think that the social media thing has kind of like, really like tampered people's brain because they see like 30 likes, that ain't enough. 100 likes, that's not a lot. You go put 100 people in that backyard right now, see how big it look.
Yeah.
And give them a good time. Give 30 people a good time. Watch them go tell their friends, and next time they go bring a +1. I think like if you get away from that, like, are we ready? Is our platform ready? Is our fan base ready? It'll just not. I wouldn't say it'll never happen, but you might come in that shit too late. I've did it too many times in my life, bro, where I thought of an idea. Even my wife has thought of an idea, and then we come back fucking 2-3 years later, and it's like we thought of that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we didn't do it though. I forgot who it was. don't quote me on that. I think it might have been Elon Musk or somebody, but somebody was like, why you ain't afraid to fucking give out the blueprint of your ideas? And it's about 95% of people won't execute. 99 probably.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They just won't execute, bro. Somebody can have the whole sauce, every ingredient, still won't cook up. You know what I mean? So it's like, do your shit, bro. If people watch you on YouTube, if people watch you on Instagram, like I said, you start small, sell people the experience, or don't sell it at all. Maybe it's free the first few times. That's one thing me and my team do, bro. We not scared to fail. We're not scared to do a podcast out there to 10 people. You know, I think like I've seen people who, whether it's music, I've seen it more commonly in the music side of things because the live show for podcasts ain't as common yet. But on the music side of things, people will be like, there's 10 people out there, I ain't performing. But it's like, you literally dog 10 people that came to watch you, bro. Yep. You know what I mean? You were so worried about the people that didn't show up and completely dissed the 10 people that showed up. You know what I mean? So I've always learned to like, you know, put on a show as if there's 1,000 people watching.
And I think those are the people that win too. Like you said, even LaRussell's whole formula has been that he's invested more in the experience than he's invested in the numbers or who comes out, you know. And next thing you know, you look up and it's all sold out. You know, you're going place to place and you get lost in that journey. So I think you're absolutely right. Just focus on creating that experience, whether it's in music, whether it's in podcasting. And I respect Bruh's
honesty. He made a post the other day where he talks about that shit. Like, you guys see all these shows that I'm doing in my backyard, and you don't realize that shit cost me $20,000 a show to just make happen. Yeah. From like the team, everybody that plays a part, 20 bands. And he said the show sold out already, and he's only made 12. You know what I mean? So it's like you $8,000 in a hole. But he knows it's bigger than that. He knows the return will come. Exactly. And, you know, just like any other business. That's why, like, the industry, people got to realize, too, like, anything you do, it is a business. So I recommend a lot of people getting into the industry, whether you're an entertainer or not. You know, I didn't graduate high school, but I did make it a senior year. Econ and government is a big part of what you utilize now, bro, because you get to utilize, you know, some of the shit you learn in terms of, like, this is a business. You might be entertaining somebody, but if you want to entertain people for a living, you got to look at it from a business perspective and realize you really got to monetize this shit. And so going back to the taking the loss, a lot of people start their business and take none but L's from the first 2 to 4 years till they see their first bit of profit. So it's the same thing, bro. You might not get people at your first few shows, but keep doing them. And motherfuckers might be like, bro, I've been meaning to come, you know, to one of your shit. And bro, we done did some shit where I done had like one person fly by themselves from Arizona to come at a show that we had in San Jose. Like, what the fuck? And then, you know, crazy. When they tell me, you bless those people. Like last time we did a show in San Jose, it was one guy came by himself from Arizona. I sent them to the merch booth. We gave bro like $200 worth of clothes. You feel me? If you're going to pay for a plane ticket, paying for a fucking hotel, pay for a fucking ticket to come to the show, I need more people like
for
you.
Merch.
Multiply that one person.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. No, and that's dope, bro. Because honestly, I think that's the method nowadays is literally pouring into those who pour into you, because that's what will come back tenfold. Like you said, LaRussell will lose $8,000 on a show that he knows is gonna touch his community, and he knows is gonna touch the surrounding community and make 10 other people want to go to a show for the first time. You know what I'm saying? So he'll get that dollar back and then some later on.
And he motivating the fuck out of the big people.
And he's motivating the people under.
The under like for sure. You know, the under, I think the under is a given though. But when you see people that are up here, that's looking down there, because like I just said this to somebody the other day, like you can have all the money and success, but you can never buy the people, bro. You can never buy the people. You know what I mean? Once the people take you out, you know what I mean? It's over. You decline from right there. You know what I mean? Well, regardless if you're in the industry, you could be a mob boss. You could be a kingpin. You know what I mean? Even the biggest kingpins give back to the people. Once you don't got the people, bro, nobody got your back. You feel me? So it's important for people, you know, take notes for sure.
Yeah, because you're not alone in this world. There's a lot of other people that are making the world go round. You know what I'm saying?
So you take attention off of you and give it to the next person.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, be mutually beneficial to those around you. You know what I'm saying? But no, that's dope, bro. And obviously we've already talked about your music, bro. We've talked about acting. We've talked about the podcast. It sounds like the list goes on. You've done cannabis, so many different businesses. Yeah. How do you balance everything, bro? What do you do for you? How do you, ground yourself and come back to?
I just, play with my kids. You know what I mean?
Family.
Chill with my wife. You know what I mean? Like me, first of all, me and my wife, when we like away from the camera, even in front of the camera, but when it's just us, we the stupidest people out, bro. Like we do the dumbest shit, bro. I'm telling you right now, like we the biggest kids for sure. Like there's times where me and my wife just be in bed nonstop laughing. Like I think it don't work for everybody, but family is just big to me, bro. It's just I come from not having nothing, and like family is all we had. So when I grew up and I created a family of my own, I wanted us to be, sort of like that too. So what do I do for me? I think everything that I'm doing as far as working is for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I've been able to experience and peep all this shit that I've never thought I'd ever do. You know what I mean? And like I've learned along the way. I've learned, I've been taught. I'm forever a student, so I always take advice. And one of the things that I learned recently is like sometimes we get so caught up in like our destination that we fucking fail to realize that the real fun was on the journey. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like just the way there, bro.
No, 100%.
Starting from the bottom is the sickest shit. You know what I mean? Like I think that's why I've been so like attracted to my podcast, because it's one of the first things that I've had in a lot of years that I got to build from the ground up. You know what I mean? I think we just hit like 29,000 followers today.
Congrats, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it. But it was 29,000 followers from people just watching genuine content. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I got obviously like over 100 on my personal that I've built over the years, but to start something new from zero and be like, yo, I've done this here, let me do this here, and it's fucking working, bro. That shit excites me, bro. I'll be the last one to go to sleep, first one I wake up, like just trying to see like what's next. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
But yeah, bro, just keep, family close, God first. You know what I mean? I think it's like super important because you can lose yourself in this shit.
No, 100%.
Don't get twisted, bro. I've lost myself in this shit for sure. I ain't afraid to hop on this motherfucker and say it.
Yeah.
You could get lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? It's important. Fucking success comes quick. Next thing you know, you put in like the important shit on the back burner because, you got all these things coming at you, but some things ain't worth it.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like, as far as like work-life balance is literally like your life, like, working, taking care of the kids, family and stuff like that. That's how you cope. That's your outlet and stuff like that. That's it. Like,
See, and that's dope because we were talking about it with S2E last week about how so many people don't even don't prioritize work-life balance. They prioritize a dollar amount. They prioritize these experiences. They prioritize these milestones. And I guess that's kind of why I even wanted to ask it, is because oftentimes, especially as men, we don't talk about work-life balance. We talk about trying to, no, we got to level up. Oh, we got to go, which obviously hustle culture, you want to hustle. We want to build something from the ground, like you said, but at the same time, something that grounds you back to reality. Like you said, your family. And
I mean, we got a folk man sitting on this couch. I think, it's important to even, bring up the fact that, men's mental health is important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta be able to like really balance that. Cause bro, as men, I mean, we're built to be providers, protectors, and sometimes we don't have enough left over for ourselves. So you gotta kind of like, balance that, and I think it's really just like staying busy. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I got the key to success in life. You know what I mean? I'm only human. You know what I mean? But I definitely learned over the years. I done took some crazy losses. I done lost people. I done lost stuff. Stuff that is replaceable. Some ain't some ain't replaceable. But I think most importantly is like, keep everybody close. Keep your people close. Don't forget why you even doing this in the first place. Everybody might be doing it for different shit. But I got 5 kids. I got, basketball team. For real, you know what I mean? I got to start in 5 for real.
Point guard these shoes this week.
I got center, all that. So it's just that, bro. It's just that, you know what I mean? Depending on what you thriving for and trying to break the generational curse is the biggest thing right now. That shit drives me every day, bro. Like we was talking about off camera, you come from nothing and you try to build a little something. And we talking about the Oakland Coliseum performance that I'm doing. Bro, I got my whole family pulling up to that shit. My kids, everybody. I don't know when's the next time we gonna do something like this.
Exactly.
Just pop up. Just soak it in and experience it for the moment.
That's so dope, bro.
For sure.
And again, congratulations, bro. Because that's like,
big,
looking back as we were all kids that loved sports growing up. You know what I'm saying? So to even my first baseball game was at that Oakland Coliseum. I saw Derek Jeter hit a home run first inning against the A's back in the day. We went to the game. Yeah, and I remember it's just like to see, you grew up watching that stadium and to be able to grace that.
Yeah, bro.
Has to be awesome.
Know what? It was like those type of things were like the only thing that we had that was not the streets.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Growing up, all we had was the streets. Before we was in the streets doing dumb shit, we were just kids in the streets, riding our bike, playing outside. That's all we knew. Like, single mom, I'm one out of 4 siblings. You talk about going to a baseball game or a football game, or matter of fact, one of my podcast sponsors took me to my first NBA game earlier this year, last year. My whole life, I ain't never went to no shit like that. Because I've been grinding. You know what I mean? I've been trying to get to the next level. In my kid years, moms was working double jobs, and even if she did have time, you telling me that she gonna pay for 5 tickets, like it's not a thing. So now I'll catch myself feeding like that inner child, like we're gonna go do this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like fucking Disneyland, games, anything, bro, anything. You know what I mean? And we just had a conversation with one of our guests that we had on our podcast, EBK Lebo. Was telling me, like him and his partner EBK Jabo, which all these kids are listening to now. He was like, bro, we got some money. We started going to trampoline parks and all that. Like, don't get it twisted. We make the music because that's, we're a product of our environment. But bro, we have fun.
Yeah,
you got to. What else you gonna do? There's some dude that I follow on Instagram. He just be pulling up to like the Home Depots and asking, for like 3-4 workers, but he takes them to like amusement parks.
Oh yeah, he takes them to roller coasters and shit.
That shit lit.
That's
shit. And they have a fucking time of their life, bro. You can just see it. Like you can see it in their face. Like grinding every day. I ain't never did this shit. For sure.
That's dope.
Feeding the inner child is what it's all about.
That's
and
important,
you being able to, like you keep on reiterating, it's like you starting from the bottom, you building it from the ground up, you building it all the way to the top to where you are now. It's just like it's good to hear. Like, it's good to hear that somebody who, who's from the town, just, look at you now, bro. You gotta get.
I ain't gonna lie.
Pat yourself on the back for that one, bro.
I turned 30 next Friday, bro.
Oh shit!
And man, it's been a long time coming. You
know
what I mean?
Definitely.
Like, I feel like I lived different lives. Like every 5 to 7 years was a different like stage in my life. So it's definitely it's a bittersweet, right? Because we get older and shit. You know what I mean? But it's dope to just like be here for many moons and still have a shitload of many moons in front of us to be able to like really pave the way and shit. You know what I mean? Still be able to do shit like this, link up, meet new people. You know what I mean? I think that's that's my version of having fun, bro. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy doing shit like this. We meeting new people, chopping game, sharing game. Hopefully there's people out here watching that can soak that shit and run with it. I mean, what else can you really ask for?
Yeah. No, that's dope, bro. That's dope, bro. And honestly, I love hearing that because even, it's a remembrance of how far you've came, but also, like you said, it's a remembrance of how far you can go too. Like, shit, I wouldn't have even thought I can get this far. And I have all this on my mind, on my plate. You know what I'm saying? It puts that battery in your back sometimes to make you remember what you're going for. And
that's what it is, bro. No, I mean, just don't be afraid to struggle. You know what I mean? I was fucking You know, I was fucking 15, 16, living in my car. You know what I mean? And at the time, that's when I caught my first buzz. You know, so you don't never know, bro. People, I never forget this shit. I'm over here thinking like, fuck, I'm catching this buzz. Everybody's listening to my music, but I'm going to sleep in my car, bro. You know what I mean? And a part of me, I was young at the time. I didn't have no kids, but a part of me was like, I don't give a fuck. People listen to my music, bro. Like, shit, I could go to sleep comfortable in this Honda Civic, still knowing somebody slapping my shit right now, bro. Yeah, just don't be afraid. You know what I mean? And I respect people that come from the bottom, because I got a lot of friends, and I've met a lot of friends that didn't come from the bottom, and they don't know what the bottom looks like. And to them, falling off is a scary thing. Yeah. To me, it ain't. I'll do this shit again. Exactly. I could lose it all tomorrow, bro, and get that shit right back. I know what it looks like. I'm familiar with the bottom. You know what I mean? So it's cool.
It's just a step-by-step journey.
Bro, it's the journey, man. You gotta have fun with it. You feel me? Definitely enjoy the shit.
And so many times we get so caught up in how far away we are from shit, but we don't realize how fast it compounds when you just kind of put your head down, make those necessary sacrifices, you know, and just do the thing.
Yeah, just staying consistent, bro. Like we was talking about a little bit off camera, which I want to take my hat off to you guys. You guys are coming, you know, from like different locations, and obviously you guys don't live together, you know what I mean? So just being able to like hop on the same accord. I know that you reached out yesterday again, and I'm like, look, bro, all I got is tomorrow. And you're like, we're going to be there. You know what I mean? So I take my hat off to that type of consistency, bro, because that shit tough. I ain't even gonna lie. That type of shit is tough, bro. I've did it before. I've done the podcast mobile, and I know that it take a toll. You know what I mean? You come here, you set up all this equipment, you break it down, you hop in the car, still gotta drive home, bro. Like that shit'll beat your ass for real.
Straight
you know
up.
What I mean?
Straight up.
You probably coming off of whether you got a 9 to 5 or you got a family, bro. Like it's for sure. But consistency, bro. Like brick by brick. Before you know it, you'll be like, damn, bro. 2025, we did some shit.
No, for real. And that's what it hit me when we were talking about the live shows. I'm like, bro, this dude's right, because you do just feed those 10 people. And next thing you know, it's going to be 100 people, 5 shows, and you don't even realize because, like you said, that +1 turns to +2 turns to, I want to bring my kids along. I want to bring, you know what I'm saying? It's all about feeding that experience.
The numbers thing, like, really, like, has tampered the art of everything, bro, because, like, when you start off your podcast page, right? You start the Unquestionable, page, and everybody starts their Instagram page from 0. And you start your YouTube from 0. And you start everything from 0. And then just seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 views is already like, oh shit, somebody like took time out their day to peep game. And then like you look at the next podcast, or you see the next motherfucker going viral, and then you start downplaying your little 5 views, you know what I mean? Or do that, right? You start looking at them like little 5 views. You just gotta be like, bro, shout out to those 5 people.
Exactly.
You know I've seen some of the biggest right now in the game, whether it's streamers like I Show Speed and some of the biggest in the game that are able to share clips to where they're like, yo, thank you for 20 fucking subscribers, you know what I mean? Yeah. And now motherfuckers is hitting world records. Like, but it's that some people don't get the results overnight, bro. And they just like shy away, they give up. But this shit, like I said, business wise, this shit's an investment.
Exactly.
What you gonna do? You gonna invest 2-3 years and all this money and just be like, it ain't working.
No, for real.
I have all types of people hit me up like, yo, Gas, you trying to buy this podcast equipment? I started a podcast a year ago, bro. Stop really fucking with it. I'm like, bruh, you gonna sell it to me for a quarter of a price? I'll take it. Don't get twisted. I'm gonna take it. You know what I mean? But like, damn, that sucks to see you go. But yeah, I'll bet on you.
No, definitely. That's the thing is people don't realize that it takes a whole infrastructure to do something like this, but they think it's gonna be overnight. Whereas, like even LaRussell's a testament of that. You can build an infrastructure, but that takes years. It takes pushing into your community and feeding people who feed to you and building a team like you're doing, all those type of things. Like it takes a whole infrastructure that takes years to be running at that capacity. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And oftentimes people are expecting it to happen overnight. And that's something that humbled us. Is like I told you, we did this for a couple years before we even went live. And that was trying to figure out lighting, trying to figure out DSPs, trying to figure out all this different shit. How do we distribute it? How do we do this? How do we do that? Basically reverse engineering what we watch all the time. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why some of the greats, some of the biggest are in that space for that reason. I don't know if y'all remember, like back when we had Blockbuster. And then Netflix came out talking about, we'll ship you CDs to your DVDs to your house. I can go to Blockbuster, bro. How am I going to subscribe to that? You feel me? Then it turned into, the DVDs being shipped to you, and then it turned into a streaming service, and Redbox became a thing where you could like just go to the thing and get a DVD, and then they was like, we streaming, and then next thing you fucking know, one of the biggest providers that we had for movies and DVDs got knocked out the water by somebody we used to doubt.
That quick, too.
You know what I mean? That quick, too. And like you see Netflix now and you forget that they were somebody who just distributed other people's movies, and now you got Netflix original films.
Crazy.
Come on, bro. You gotta pay attention. Like I tell people all the time, like, some of the biggest done started. Amazon, the PayPal, these places started in fucking garages and shit. Like
Nike.
Nike, bro. Like that shit's fucking crazy. They paid like what, $30, $35 for the Nike swoosh.
Yeah.
And gave her a couple shares. You feel
me?
Called it a day.
And nobody wanted to go to Nike. It was blue ribbon at first. Nobody. Adidas looked like it was beating them by a long shot, and now you got checks over stripes. Everybody puts that on everything, It's like...
That's what it is, bro. You got to just be down to take the hits, be down to like turn non-believers into believers.
Wait your turn.
And only the strong survive, bro. I'm not going to lie, it's not for everybody. I have seen, I've seen some people online recently that I follow that's like, yo, I'm back to a 9-to-5 after like 10 years of entrepreneurship, and it's like the best thing I could have fucking did. Some people like, they're like, that shit's a fucking stress. It's stressful, bro. You'll lose your hair over this shit. I'm not gonna lie. A couple years I was dealing with like a severe case of like alopecia, bro. I was like really in the space where I was like stressed out, and like I thought my fucking barber had nicked me, and it turned into like a big bald spot, bro. And that shit lasted like a whole year. So if you see me with beanies for like a year, I was going through it, bro. You know what I mean? Like this shit'll take a toll on you. But I ain't give a fuck. I'll go bald. I'll shave this shit off if that means breaking when I'm trying to break. You know what I mean? It's not for everybody though. So, salute to the ones that's doing it. You know what I mean? And on a return, y'all told me behind the scenes, y'all real friends.
No, yeah, for sure.
Salute to that shit too, bro. Because once you start climbing this motherfucker, it ain't too many.
No, for sure. And you see why too, bro. Like, I mean, even in our short time, how many times we've done dirty, or like we told you behind the scenes, like we've had so many situations like that where we travel out to somebody and we got to make it work without them, or like certain things like that, so it really does, it tests your patience and everything. And it makes it better that you have people that you like, you know what I'm saying? That you,
hey, look, I had, I won't say no names, but I had like one of the biggest label executives, CEOs, matter of fact, of the industry right now. I remember he was like, I want you to come, to my fucking, what was it, compound, something like this, but I'm pretty sure it was a fat ass mansion. It's like next time you in LA, or, come down this weekend, you feel me? So, me being the artist that I am, trying to come up, I'm like, shit, like, let's rock, you feel me? So I put a whole trip together, bro, to come down to LA to just link up with bro, trying to see if I could get a opportunity tossed at me. And when I went down there, bro, I fucking, try to reach out to bro, and there was no answer. You know what I mean? Just left me hanging cold turkey. And the day that I was leaving back home, he reached back out to me and was all like, oh man, my bad. I had family come through from out of town, and it's good. Like, where you at? Like, pull up today, you feel me? But by that time I was like, nah, I'm straight. You know what I mean? So, a lot of people was like, bro, that could have been your ego, whatever it was. But it's like, bruh, ain't no way, I just stand on certain type of principles, bruh. respect go a long way. The smallest gesture go a long way. You
No,
could
for sure.
you could have texted me and been like, "Yo, let's reschedule for tomorrow. Family here." You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So sometimes you're gonna go through that, bro. You're gonna go through like some false promises and failed visions, but you gotta just come back to the drawing board and shit for sure.
No, for sure. And like you said, it's decency. So it's like it tells more about that person than it does about you. You just got to keep running your course. You know what I'm saying? Like, because even recently we had somebody hit us up to do a show recap. Like they wanted us to go to this concert, do a bunch of recap, interview the artists, everybody and stuff. Do all that shit. Bro, coming up a couple days before, I'm like, all right, like, what are the details? Do we need any passes? All this, and same thing, just crickets.
Yep.
So it's like
charges to the game.
Charges to the game. All right, you're onto something new. You know what I'm saying? But shit like that happens all the time.
Sometimes, depending on the situation, I might hold somebody accountable for that shit though. You know what I mean? Like the internet, a powerful tool. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, sometimes, not every situation, but there might be a situation that needs some addressing.
Yeah.
I think the only time that I'm in that space is if I bump into like culture vultures.
Okay.
If I bump into somebody who like tries to use, us for the culture and then like probably go cold turkey like that, yeah, for sure, bruh. You know what I mean? Like that's a different side of me. You know what I mean? Because like, we already are dealing with those certain obstacles. You know what I mean? We don't need people setting us back.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But for the most part, bro, y'all doing y'all thing. You know what I mean? I was glad to be here for sure.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm excited, bro. You know what I mean? I try to take in any podcast. And that's the thing, bro. It's people got to do more than that. You know what I mean? I could have been like a hater that's like, no, I got my own podcast. You know what I mean? But, bro, everybody doing their thing. I'm sure you got a different audience than I do. So, follow me. You know what I mean?
No, definitely.
Follow my podcast.
Hey, some of the best podcasts be with another podcaster.
No, for sure.
Hey, bro, you know what? Like I've been telling people, and I'll go ahead and say it on here, bro, because I don't care about giving away my ideas. I've been telling people, like podcasts need a collab, bro.
Cross pollinate audiences. I've been saying that to everybody.
I don't know if y'all remember. I think it was like Nickelodeon or like Cartoon Network, or sometimes it'd be like the Disney Channel.
Yeah, where Disney, Nickelodeon, or
like you'll see somebody from fucking Zoe 101 on Zach and Cody or something.
Yeah. Or like when the CW did it with the whole DC universe.
Yeah. It's like, wait, what the fuck? I never thought I'd see these two people in the same room together. You know what I mean? Like, bro, it's about feeding the audience. You know what I mean? And especially, y'all from y'all California platform. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's for sure more than an honor to come through fucking around, for sure.
No, it's an honor having you, bro. And same thing you said earlier, even like what 40 said, it means a lot to us that you'll come and sit down with us, and like same thing sits with us because, when we're at a point where we are getting asked to sit down with certain people, it's going to be no hesitation because remembering all the people like you that sat down with us early on.
Salute to y'all for like being cool enough to like take y'all shoes off and shit. You know what I mean? Because I was telling bro, I was like, hey, sometimes motherfuckers don't come prepared to take off their shoes.
I got a hole in my sock, bro.
They might have mismatching socks.
I said that this is his socks.
Nah, bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's funny, bro. It's funny. Me and my wife my wife could tell you I've been in that situation before. I'm like, hold on, they want us to take off our socks. I wore my bath socks today, bro. Baby, you didn't wash clothes last night. You feel me? I'm stuck with my shit.
Now starts an unnecessary argument between y'all.
Yeah, like, damn well you should have washed that shit.
How you gonna pull up crusty somebody's house?
Man, I'm telling you, bro. I'm like, fuck. Luckily in those situations, I done had some pants on or something. You feel me? Like, you got them shorts on, you fucked. You're done. You know what I mean? But like I was telling them, I'm like, where y'all want to shoot, bro? When we shoot here, y'all just got to take off y'all socks. You feel me? The girls be on me about the carpet. So it's like, nah, we good. I'm like, all right, cool, shit.
Yeah, no, man. We're pretty flexible with everything. We, like I said from the beginning, we just appreciate anybody who will sit down and chop game with us because, ultimately that's what this is for, just to, talk to people that we respect and be able to kind of see a human side of them, but also get to ask them the questions that, you know, fans and supporters might want to know, or people who don't know.
What's your view of side of things, bro? I gotta call you out. What's your view on side of things, bro? You more like the quiet one.
Nah, I mean, I'm a little quiet today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm hella high.
You lit. You done got lit.
I don't smoke that much, but I've been smoking more, and I was smoking on the way here, and I'm fucking pretty high.
Shit, bro.
But I mean, nah, dude. I mean, it's crazy even having you here. I've been following you for a minute, so fucking just talking and like getting these insights on you is surreal too, bro.
Yeah, no,
it's hard
for
not
sure.
to be kind of starstruck and shit.
No, it's good.
Even like he was saying, bro, I'm a fucking Oakland Raiders fan too from the Coliseum. First game I ever went to was a Oakland Raider game, and I've been a fan ever since. So
bro.
shit like that's hella impactful, and it's dope to see what you're doing for the culture and the community, bro. Especially the Latino culture and shit. It's dope. Like you're saying, as a kid, that for you to be able to show people like younger kids, the next generation coming up, that it's hella possible is fucking momentous, bro.
Nah, that's what's up, bro. I appreciate you, man. And, you know, I tell everybody, I mean, we're all fucking human, bro. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you'll be surprised, bro. This industry, my wife would tell you, I done bumped into some motherfuckers that I looked up to. I'm like, this bro's a whole ass weirdo. Motherfucker different. You feel me? Like, you know, it's an illusion, bro. You know what I mean? So I don't ever think of myself higher than anybody. You know what I mean? We equal. We eye to eye with it. But nah, I thought I'm like, bro, I've been quiet over here. But you know what's cool? You know what's cool? And I tell everybody all the time, like, it's cool to like be yourself. You know what I mean? Because like as a podcast, people will adapt to every individual a little different. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we were talking a little bit off camera and shit. I was like, I'm low key like a fan of like the Fool Saying podcast, like the Milk Boys and shit. You know what I mean?
For real.
And some of them motherfuckers be annoying. Like, you know, when I consume the content, I'm like, I tell brother stop talking all the time, bro.
Shut up, Steiny.
Yeah, so you know, it's cool for the most part, man. Yeah, no, that's cool, man. I'm glad to be here, though, for sure.
No, bro, thank you for coming again. And before we get out of here, man, I wanted to ask you, we ask everybody, what's one piece of advice that you live your life by that somebody who supports you or is just watching could, you know, really take and run with?
Just don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Just it really, like, you got to be able to, like, box everybody out when you really want something. You know what I mean? I know the internet. And I say the internet because the internet's for everything. You like, we can't deny that. There's internet used for every single avenue of business right now. So like, my word of advice is just don't give a fuck. Do your thing. Keep hustling. You know, keep grinding. Achieve your dreams. Box everybody out. Don't let none get too serious. And most importantly, I tell my kids this piece of advice: it ain't an issue unless it's at your doorstep. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
You know, some come to your doorstep. It's a different power. It's America. You know what I mean? Like, but other than that, bro, like, it's good. You feel me? Like, you know, just don't take nothing too serious, bro. That's most important. Don't take nothing too serious. You know, I read somewhere that, you know, the millennials, we're the most unserious adults there is to date, bro. I had an experience. Look, before I go, one thing I realized about us millennials, bro, is like, you got to realize we're the new doctors. We're the new nurses. I had a situation recently, bro, where I like sliced my finger and my finger was hanging off. Me and my wife went on a date, you know what I mean? And I ended up trying to throw like a Casamigo bottle out of my car, but it like hit it like ricocheted and like literally sliced my finger in half, bro. My shit was gushing. I'm driving all crazy through the freeway, you feel me? I'm like worried about my finger. I get to the ER, you feel me? And I think it was like Stanford Hospital. And I get there, bro, and I'm like worried about my fucking finger. Like, somebody saved this shit. They wrapped my shit off, you know what I mean? And sent me to the back, bro. And when I tell you, the doctor and the nurses were just slapping Cupcake No Feeling, you know, like hyphy music. And I'm like, bro, if y'all come in this motherfucker and save my finger, bro, what's wrong with y'all? And then I realized when we got in there, you know, the doctor was like, you know, 30A, and, you know, the nurse was like probably my age, like 30, 31. And I'm like, bruh, y'all really
The new normal.
That's who I
It's
trust
the
with
new
my life.
generation.
who I trust in my life. Like, bring the old man in here or something. Like, it's
I want
crazy.
Eugene back, bro.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy, bro. But nah, yeah, we up next, man, for sure.
Nah, definitely, bro. Tell them where to find you. Tell them where to find saying what they want, man.
Yeah, look, find me at Baby Gas, BABYGAS. Social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, anything. Find my podcast, Saying What You Want, on Instagram, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, anywhere that there's a podcast platform, we're there. Just stay tuned in, man. I got some new projects along the way, so yeah, for sure.
No, definitely. Is there anything else for us to look out for? Like you said, projects coming up, podcasts. Is there anything you want people looking out for?
I got a new album on the way.
Okay,
sir. I got a new album on the way. I just dropped the EP called Siempre Ghetto.
Yes, sir.
And, I got a new album on the way. I took a little break. Life was lifing. I had to sit back real quick and raise my kids. Luckily, all my kids is big as fuck. My oldest is 15. My youngest is about to be 7. So I'm good now. You know what I mean? So I'm back. So yeah, new album on the way. Yeah, stay tuned for that for sure.
Perfect, bro. Well, thank you again for coming, man. Can't appreciate it enough. And if you guys haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and tune in again next week. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week.
Yo.